Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Friday live with a lot of delay. That is a lot of delay, Nick.
It's quite a bit.
That's more than a lot of delay. That's a what's like a big fancy word for lots? Like, what would a philosopher say?
Tremendum. That's Latin for tremendous.
A plethora.
Plethora.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Plethora.
cool. Pretty
Your
cool.
mic's really low.
Is
Are
it
you
really
pushing
low?
your mic?
Yeah.
I'll turn his mic up.
Turn him up.
Check 1, 2.
Welcome to the live, where things are actually live.
Yeah.
And you're drinking. What are you drinking today?
Espresso, a single origin from Colombia.
I'm drinking a single origin Barks root beer. What do you got over there?
Drinking a double origin Topo Chico.
What does single origin even mean?
It means that the coffee comes from a single location.
Oh, I knew that. I felt dumb once you said
Instead
the
of a
answer
blend.
because I was like, duh. Okay.
Hey, it's okay.
All right. Welcome to the live. Today's subject is really fun. I'm going to try to do some of these more personal to me, like stuff I've played over the years and including like the best versions of my favorite sounds and access to things I've always loved through just currently available pedals and kind of start some subjects that way on the live streams. Today is what is the best? So there is no best. I like yell at people on forums for this, like, what's the best distortion? So first of all, there's not one, but you got here by way of a thumbnail that said, what's the best 80s stereo delay?
I mean, there's not a best, but
It's a
there
best-
might be a best to you.
That's where I was going. You got there. You got there before me.
Sorry.
Do not have to apologize. The best to me. So the best to me, I think this is how we should talk about pedals in my opinion. The best to me is not going to be the best to Nick, but the best to Nick might lead me to a different pedal. And my best might lead all of you on the stream to something you didn't think about, and you might use it in a totally different way, or you might learn a new effect. I love this effect. So specifically what we're talking about, if we look down at these pedals, these are my current favorites. This is brand new, and I'm going to go ahead and do a spoiler alert. It's freaking amazing, and it's going to be almost impossible to dethrone currently on the market. And I'll share why. And this is a non-paid. This is like literally I played it and was like floored because I love this sound. These represent what I would call 80s stereo rack delay sounds. There are two units that are primarily and extremely famous from the 80s. So you have the TC Electronic 2290. That is my favorite stereo delay sound. And you can find this sound right here in the setting of the flashback. They have a 2290. I have used the big chunky boy flashback 4. I have a typo here that I've never noticed. This is 2390. Maybe it's like one more better. But anyway, you can, you have a modulated version and the normal in that. And they make different versions of this. What's important though is for that 2290 sound to be great, you have to do stereo. So they have a mini version that's not stereo. So it kind of defeats the point in my opinion. Then you have things like the Nova delay. This is a tried and true and should be praised as much as a DL4 and stuff. It's incredible. And you can go to just normal delays. You can actually do this effect you're going to learn about today. You can do it with some different sounds on this. This is actually really tweakable. But the sound I'm after, let's show you the plain and simple, like 20. If you have headphones on, this episode will be a lot more fun.
You should wear headphones.
So that 2290 sound is my favorite. The other famous sound is the Korg SDD 3000. And what's important is that this is basically the effect that the Edge made famous with the Joshua tree. It's this. You've heard it on like... Am I out of tune? Almost.
Just a little bit.
Wow. I watched a Grammys performance once with U2 on it, and he hit a bad note.
Oh,
And it
with that delay on?
Oh yeah, it was unbelievable.
That's
Let's
the
see.
worst.
This might be an intonation problem, y'all. It was out of tune. So, you're like... It's that whole Joshua 3 thing, like... So speed it up. I'm on this pedal, so... It's the dotted eighth thing, but it's also a quarter note with it, and it's important to understand. So this pedal's doing a dotted eighth sound and adding in a quarter note, and it's stereo in different places in your ears. So that is an amazing and one of my favorite effects ever. So one more time. It's bouncing them back and forth. So you have two delay ratios with the whatever tempo you're on. One is a quarter and one is a dotted eighth, and they bounce around in your head. So that's the sound I'm after. It's an 80s rack delay sound. So my favorite ones are right here in front of us. The Strymon Dig is amazing. I feel like it's a sleeper of sort, even to me. See, it's doing it. And they just have different feature sets. So like time 1, time 2, this has light or deep mod. They're all very lush. And I'll show you this one. This unit is incredible for the price. We'll go over that stuff in a minute because it just gets forgotten, but it has like the digital display with the beats per second, tons of different sounds. Like it has reverse delay. So I can go onto this and do a digital reverse with the multiple, which is super cool. You can do true ping pong. So, but that's the deal here. So how do we get the best 80s stereo rack delay sound out of these pedals? So this is brand new, and I think that's where we'll start. Are there any opening comments from the band here, which is Nick? Do you have any?
No, it sounds good. I feel like I never play this type of delay, so it's fun to listen to somebody else play this type of delay.
Yeah, I know you well. I'm like, I don't know where you would ever use this.
No,
you know?
I mean, it's cool.
just not, yeah.
I like how the effect plays with the mix and is very, very like dynamic. But yeah, it's nice to listen to somebody who actually knows how to apply this.
This is like, I truly cut my teeth with hearing just literally my 10-year-old brother at the time, Joshua Tree from the next room, and all these delays. Like, it's very natural. I remember hearing Coldplay and being like, oh, that's huge. Like,
right.
I'm from the era where it hadn't been oversaturated yet, and there's still a special place for it, I think. But yeah, so I want to just go over this. What are the prices on these, Boki? Like, I guess starting off, the general prices on them.
The Nova delay, you can't find new. I don't believe.
Yeah, I don't think they make it anymore.
Reverb had stuff about $100 to $125.
I just want to say that's insane. Like, which one is the best is what we'll get to. I kind of have to say, like, that's impossible to beat, and you should know. $100 for this is bonkers.
Yeah.
Just if you're watching out there, and at the end of this, you're just like, I want to get into this thing cheap, like crazy stereo delay. It's going to be hard to not recommend this. So, yeah, just keep going.
Yeah. Don't go to Amazon. It's $165.
No, Jeff Bezos is putting that straight in his wallet.
The Flashback Mini is $119.
Yep, there's a little mini. This is the Flashback 2. I think it's similar pricing. Yeah, they're like $150.
I don't know how much the big guy is.
The big chungus one, I don't know.
I can look it up in a sec.
That's fine.
The Strymon Dig V2, which we have V1 on the table.
Yeah.
But the V2 is $379.
Yeah.
New.
And so this is amazing. I want to say, like, it's on the table, and there's a lot of other delays that aren't. I love this pedal, but it is actually crazy that that's about $100 used, and this is $349 for the new version. You could probably get the V1 for cheaper, but yeah. And then we got this guy, the new Joshua Ambient Echo.
Is $239.99.
So these are all really fairly priced. There's also some stuff like this.
The TRS split tap is $59 if you're interested.
This thing, and I'll show you how this works. The Alter Ego is an alternate version of the Flashback. It just has a modulated version of this sound. So here, let's, I guess, jump into this and talk about it for a second. This is George Tripp's as the head, like, let's just say the Steve Jobs of the project. So MXR has really been cooking on their digital stuff. And I I would just say, like Keith Barr at the end of his career with MXR, he was pointing towards digital. He was so obsessed with digital, and then MXR goes bankrupt and all this stuff. I love that this new era that we're in with George Trips, especially at the helm of a lot of these projects, it's really digging into that actual heritage of MXR with these amazing digital devices. So that's George at the head, and then Curtis and Alex doing code over there. George may be in the chat. I'm not sure. If he is, he can answer any questions. But Trips is amazing. I mean, we're talking Line 6 history. We're talking MXR, Dunlop, fuzz face stuff, way huge. That's the project lead on this. So this pedal is pretty impressive. And let me show you how it plugs up. And we'll go through like the actual plug-in options of it here, and then we'll do another jam. But so you have an input, which is mono. That's your power. This is really interesting. You can use this pedal without this, but this is amazing. So if you want to use it without it, you have a control jack right here, and on the side there's a dip switch. This control jack can be a tap tempo. It can be the stereo out if you want it to switch to audio. And then you have the output, right? Now this output can also just be TRS, and you can run out to a splitter. But the way that this works with this is what makes this pretty magic. The feature set in this, first of all, is incredible. There's nothing that has all of this, but then you add this to it and it's crazy. So I'm simply plugging this cable from the tap out into the tap in, and that connects that foot switch. So when the pedal's on, I can tap in a different tempo. So pretty simple. Now, if there's a small version that's just the tap, see, you can just connect out to that, but that's too small. You know, I say bigger is better with the foot switch, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then output this is a TRS stereo cable just into the TRS jack. And then I have it going out, in this case, into the dig through, but this goes out to the stereo amp. So I'm using a Walrus ACS1 here.
I don't know if it's worth mentioning here or not, but the reverb is always on.
Yeah. Yep.
George is reminding us in the chat, so
That's
I
great.
just wanted to make sure we said it.
Yeah. Let's talk about the features that make this really impressive. Maybe we should do one more jam before that, or
sure.
Do another jam. Music. I'm gonna feature the octave setting. Hear this octave? So this is a big deal with U2 sounds because Brian Eno, the producer, invented shimmer, which is the octave in the decay of a delay. Now, if I hold this button down, you have access to the reverb controls. I can turn that verb down. That's how you turn the verb off, but you don't want to do that. So put a little verb back in. That's the size, and that's the mix. So now I have verb in the delay. It's not in the clean line. You want to do something like that? Yeah, send me a click over here. So I'm going to build on top of that with a fuzz pedal at my feet. I have a cheese ball. I'm going to keep that same delay sound and add fuzz to it. So that's dry. I'm going to turn the delay on and play that same line. Super cool. So that was a good jam.
I felt like I wanted to be at home, like, you know, at twilight. I wish I was like sitting in a dark room at twilight with the sun, with the tiniest bit of sunlight coming in.
Dark
Just,
Room
like,
at Twilight's a good band name.
Sitting on a couch, just like listening to music. You know what I'm saying?
That felt good. I think why I've always loved these sounds, and I know for some people they become kind of tropey and annoying. And then if you've ever been around like what's considered like church praise and worship music or something, you're like,
yes,
dear God, quit playing it.
Yes.
So it's interesting though, like, but to grab a hold of it outside of those contexts and like going back to 1985, 86, 87, the way it's used, like what's brilliant about it is it's artificially making you like it's filling up a mix for a band that has three instruments. That's what the point was. Like U2 is three dudes making the sound of like an arena band. So it's really fun. And you could hear on that, I mean, we just layered that really simply and it got nuts. It got massive. So you got to hear the octave. Let me just go through these settings like super practically for you. So let's turn that voice off. The voice is going to be considered the octave. So here's like just the delay. We turn the mix up a little more. All right, it's pinging through the ears. Again, please wear headphones. It's worth it. All right, regeneration is your feedback. Delay is simply the time. I have it tapped in, but you can, you know, if you want to get crazy, you can do that stuff. But I'm just tapping in a tempo here. So this is modulation. So I can turn it up. I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Nick?
That sounds amazing.
If I hold down this shift control, I can do the depth of that mod. Not shift. Yeah, it is it's not called shift. It's called trails.
There are modulation parameters.
Yes. Yeah, and you hold down
that's
trails
cool.
and you kind of access underneath. The reverb and modulation parameters you access by holding down trails.
That's amazing.
So
It'll also keep the trails. If
Yeah.
you engage it, it will keep trails after you turn
yeah,
the
so
pedal
trails means trails is off. I know why are you turning your trails off? If you're out there, you don't turn the trails
Is that
off.
what trails means?
Yeah.
It means when you bypass the
Yeah.
pedal, it keeps
Yeah.
going. Oh, okay. That
You-
makes a lot of sense. Why would you not? want
Exactly.
that?
I don't know.
Well, I guess the only reason why you would maybe want that off is if you hit a bad note and you were like, oops, got to start over. But just don't hit a bad note.
Or own it.
Or, yeah, you're like, I meant that. That's dotted eighth jazz.
Yeah, so you have this ability to kind of tweak that sound by holding and getting the alternate access there.
That's
the
cool.
same with reverb. So let me show you. Reverb size is the underneath control of this, and then reverb mix is here. So let me just max it out and be ridiculous. Here's full reverb under the delays. And then the master mix is going to matter there because it's the delay and the verb. But if I turn that up and that up with the parameter of verb up, with the mod, I mean, I've never seen a pedal this size do anything close to this amount of this sounds like rack. This is,
it's so cool.
I feel like I hauled in a rack unit and had a roadie.
This like gritty, dirty feedback is really cool. That's like really nice.
So, I mean, you have subdivisions. You have Echo 2. Echo 2, I'm never going to turn it off because I want the 2290 sound, right? But what it does is it removes the quarter note. So, but I want the...
Yeah.
That's the point. I need it's my drum. Like, the way this feels is it feels like a beat.
Yeah, it's
that's why it's, yeah. What should we do here? What kind of jam? I just want to say,
really cool.
I mean, if we're going by the thumbnail, I'm pretty boldly saying, I still love, I have to clear that old loop. I still love the flat, like the 2290 sound in the Flashback series is TC, and they have a 2290 pedal. I've actually never played. They're sending it to me, but this wins. We have Verb, Octave, the quarter note 2290 thing. This splitter is phenomenal. And then here's another feature. Check this out. Nick, you'll like this.
Freeze?
It's a freeze.
That's so cool. I love that.
It's friggin' amazing. I mean, I can't put my foot on the table, but
right.
I could.
You could put your foot up on the table.
I'm sure we have a book.
Just set a book.
I could do a loop of this. Let me try to incorporate that, and let's do the most ambient thing we've ever done. I don't know how we're gonna do that, but let's try. All right. I'll do a guitar track first. And then I'll jump on the bass, and then I'll do a second guitar track. And we're just going to vibe. So if you're at home, go lay in your lawn with some headphones on. Yeah, grab a Barks or like a single origin Miller Lite.
Single origin Miller Lite.
I don't know why you treat me like this.
I'm gonna go to the key of E minor so we can really feel all of the wrongdoing that's been done to us.
Yes.
I'm currently looping the Eros loopers at my feet. So I'm looping a pad here. That's going to sound like garbage. Hold on. It's okay. It's okay to figure it out. Send me the click one more time. I need to swell in on every one of them. This is going to be a train wreck or super cool.
It's going to be great. I have full faith.
I'm going to use the delay on the bass. I haven't done that, so. All right, I'm going to track this bass. All right, now I'm going to verb out the guitar delay sound with the echo and add the octave all the way. And the drive sound is just a Nauticon and a Morning Glory. That was fun. That had some vibes. I think I just paid taxes. And so that was like,
you had to let all that out.
Yeah. Let it go.
you know,
Yeah.
you got to make
Very
the
cleansing.
best. Yeah. I had to be cleansed of the tax demons. you
Yeah.
know? So I went to 1985. I put on like a hat like the Edge. I picture myself at Red Rocks.
Yeah.
That's some sick sounds, like for real.
Yeah.
I have never seen. There is nothing of that size that gets close to this. And even with the bigger features, like by all means, $100, please go buy this. Like it's incredible. This, let me talk about the negatives. I never do this. Here are the negatives. Should we do? Let's do some negatives. I mean, negatives aren't negatives. It's just like what I like and don't like about each one. Here we go.
Oh boy.
I feel like we need like a Napoleon Dynamite music in the background.
Okay.
And now it's time for...
Meticulously obsessing over small details no one should care about.
It's not going to be that dramatic. I also noticed I'm not wearing black today.
Neither am I.
What is going on with
know.
us?
We're all. It's like a pretty similar.
What are we?
color,
Are we
too.
like from the? We're like desert.
Top down?
Top down.
Top
Top down.
down.
Top down.
Top
Top-
down.
All right, here we go. This $100. If you don't buy this, you're not good with money. All right.
You
I
heard it
mean,
here, folks.
So the positive is you get delay, you get dynamic, which is like ducked delay. You get reverse, which is one of my favorite effects ever. Ping pong, pan, slap back. You have presets. It does not have MIDI, I don't believe. I can't remember. No, I don't think it has MIDI. That's a beef for some people. That's becoming a thing for me because even now, so you might not know it if you're watching, Nick is actually, we're hearing a click, and Nick is controlling. Can you see Nick over there? Nick has a beat buddy that's sending a pulse to my looper and my delays and my feet. So like we're using MIDI in the live stream, and this is the way bands use MIDI. This doesn't have that, so whatever. The Edge didn't have MIDI, but no he did at some point.
Eventually.
I mean, in the beginning, he chained 2 memory mans to 2 amps. So I mean, we should all grow up and just deal with it. Okay. So the negative here is hard to find. Plus, I think it looks awesome. This is like not dated at all. This looks like something you would buy right now that costs a lot of money.
I think it looks a little dated.
Really?
Not in a bad way.
If you think it's dated in the comments, join Joshua.
Yeah.
If you think it looks beautiful, join me.
Joshua.
A line
The other
has been
Joshua.
drawn in the sand.
Next, flashback. I'll say this. The thing that drives me insane about this pedal, number one, it has the most epic 2290 sound. It has tons of other sounds. I don't care about them, though they're awesome. This is 2290 or die for me. This is like ride or die. It's all, I could take this knob off and glue the setting. I'm never going to use any other sound. You can't do tap on it without losing a stereo output.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Which kind of defeats.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's a little bit defeats the purpose.
Now, if you're using this, you got it all. You got MIDI in, you got stereo, you got the separate thing, and you can tell this has been on my live board for years. I have 2 of these on 2 boards. That's like a memory man sound. That's my reverse, like talkback. Yeah, the talkback. And that's apparently the 2390, but you get the point. This single unit is a little frustrating to me. Now, the Strymon Dig, best color out here by far.
Everyone
It's a good
thinks
color.
the Nova delay looks dated, except for you.
Well, they're wrong.
But that's not bad. I mean, we're both dated too, so.
Everything is dated.
Go back the hair. What? I've had like a weird plateau hair thing going. It's fine.
How's my hair?
Looks beautiful.
It looks really good, actually. I
Thanks.
meant to compliment you on
Oh,
it. It's
thanks.
been looking really good.
I think your hair's dripping.
Dripping.
All right.
Anyway.
Back to the Strymon Dig. The Strymon Dig it's beautiful. And it's Strymon. I don't need to say they know what they're doing. Like everything they make is freaking awesome. This is probably the most underappreciated Strymon pedal they've ever done. I do not see it on as many boards as other things. I mean, the L cap and these other delays they have are legendary. This is made to sound like an 80s rack unit. That's what they're doing here. And they did a good job. So on a live board, I mean, again, you have to think about tap tempo control remotely is a little bit more difficult.
Does it have a tap on the top?
Yeah.
So it has a tap on the top.
Yeah, that's great. I would say 85% of boards on Earth, this might be the winner on the table.
To me,
for that sound, that
when
one
I was
sound.
watching you dial stuff in, you turn that on and in like 2 seconds had it dialed in, and I was like, wow, that.
Yeah, like
I find that as like a high value in a pedal. Like how quickly can you get to that? It's amazing.
Yeah, so you have time 2 repeats mix 2. It's cool. So you can turn the mix 2 up.
Oh, that's fun. Am I hearing mod on the modulation on the
Yes,
trails?
it has. So user interface.
That is great.
Strymon on the big boys, like a timeline. This is who I am. You know, I'm 42. The timeline makes me want to stab my eyes because of a digital menu.
42.
I'm 42.
Whoa.
I'm an old geezer, and I love the timeline's amazing. This Strymon, this subcategory of their products, I think it's almost impossible to beat the user interfaces because it says this: mod off,
Yeah.
light, deep,
It's amazing.
and then you have type. You have 3 types.
That's
it.
That kind of user interface speaks to me very deeply. Because
This is a
it's
Nick
so,
pedal.
It really is.
And
Yeah,
it's a
I'm like,
me
oh,
pedal. This
it's
is where
so
Nick and I
simple.
meet.
Yeah.
And so you got all the stuff, and I'm sure there's sub like hold downs and sub stuff, but yeah. So the dig is going to be tough to beat in this category. And then you have the new Joshua Ambient Echo. With this, I think it is absolutely the most expansive take on this idea I've ever heard. You get the octave, the reverb, you have the depth of modulation, you have all kinds of stuff. It's just really great. So I don't know what else to say about it.
That is cool. It has the reverb aspect to that is really neat.
Yeah, listening. So I'll turn the octave off. Let me turn the verb off, so to speak. I have to roll these all the way back. So it does the whole thing. Here are the beefs. So the beefs with the Strymon for some people are going to be like you can't MIDI controller and stuff. The new ones have this though. I'm almost positive the V2 Strymons, people are probably like, Josh, the V2s. So I don't know that my beef even exists with this. This may be technically perfect now. Here's the only beef with this. And this counts for my current setup. I would like to control these tempos with the sync that I'm using on my board, like MIDI.
Oh.
That's my only thing. Now, can I do that? Yeah, I just use the tap jack and go buy like a a digital controller. What's his name? He makes amazing.
From the
Matthew Farrell. Oh my gosh, what is it?
Yes,
Thank you. Disaster. Yeah, Disaster Area, and that'll control that stuff.
I remembered a pedal company's name.
Good job, Nick.
Everybody,
I'm proud of-
Nick just remembered a pedal company that I
Things are
couldn't.
happening.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing black. You're not wearing black.
I'm wearing a freaking.
You're wearing a maternity shirt, but you remembered
Yeah.
a pedal's name. Josh Scott's using freaking stereo.
Here's what happened to me. Y'all know this. I've hated on stereo
You have.
on the
Publicly,
show.
yes.
Publicly. I've hated on it in lectures and talks. I have hated on it. So it's pointless. Like for 20 years almost.
Yeah.
I started doing the lives in my basement when we were like restructuring everything and Addison moved on. So I was like having fun by myself looping. And I hooked up a stereo delay.
Yeah.
I hooked up the flashback 2 in stereo, and I was like, "Oh God, the 2290." I forgot.
Yeah.
I was like, so to the point of this episode, this sound brought me all the way back to I'm fully stereo now. Like I don't want to play without it.
Yeah.
Like that's what happened.
You heard it here, folks.
And we
Josh
so
has gone stereo.
we played a gig in Oklahoma, me, Rhett, and Nick, and like I had stereo on the stage, rocking the 2290 a ton. Rhett's video's out. You can actually hear me using.
So you're using stereo in public.
Oh, I am
fully on
fully
display.
a full
I'm-
addict
Wow.
he's using.
Yeah,
Hey, you know what?
I'm unashamed.
Josh,
What?
in my eyes, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for growing.
It's been a journey. I
It's
think,
been a long
I
journey.
think we
I
could
think if-
probably go back through our videos and
Oh,
create
yes.
a 10-minute
Like just
video
the
of
sizzle.
Yes.
Josh saying stereo sucks,
Easy.
stereo sucks.
Don't use stereo. It's worthless.
I think
If you're using stereo, you need to be doing something different.
if I'm anything right now, I am proof that all you old dogs out there can learn a new trick.
Yeah.
I am.
I bet if Jimi Hendrix was still alive,
He'd use it.
he'd be like stereo. He's like, so I can be awesome twice.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Are there any? Let's do a Q&A. You got any questions in there?
No.
Let's toss some questions. Everybody toss me a few questions.
It's time for Q&A.
Can we do another jam?
You should do
We're
a
gonna
jam.
close on the biggest
I'm
jam
getting
ever
itchy.
done.
I'm getting itchy.
Let's do a jam now.
Yeah.
All right.
We gotta wait for questions.
Yeah.
I wasted a stinger, but we're gonna do a jam and do that stinger again.
Yeah.
So ask your delay questions to me and other whatever. Let's keep it on the topic. Maybe we could talk about U2. I'm not ashamed that
Delay
I
and
love
U2.
old. I love old U2. Actung Baby Back all day. That'd be
Yeah.
a good band name. Actung Baby Back.
Yeah.
Baby back, baby back, baby back. Okay.
Octave,
All right.
baby back, baby back.
Oh, it's
There we go.
Octung. Yes. All right. What kind of tempo we want here?
Good question.
I'm just hooked on the sound. Let me find the sound. Something I haven't done.
That's neat.
That's a sick sound. Okay. I'll do guitar, bass, second guitar. I'll do what I did a moment ago. Let's do it. This is sort of like Sade. How did I end up at Sade? What is the song? This is no ordinary love. I like it.
We were shades haunting city streets, running between buildings and alleys in the windy night, scaling walls and dodging cars, unconquerable in our youth. We were the boys and the girls of summer, burning brightly in the dark, too old to be playing and too young to be stopped. All of us in love, bound to one another by summer's grace. The wind carried us as trains raced by, moving us to an unknown future that couldn't be stopped. As unconquerable and inevitable as we imagined our summer to be. Our time, a match struck against a different dark, a flash of life and laughter, hot and surprising and quickly fading. Our joy haunts the city streets, echoes of unfinished business. Our memories still roam there, even if we've forgotten, or we're forgotten, or we never come back. But if you're patient and you know how to listen, you can hear us laughing and see our shadows still lingering.
It's now suddenly like ambient blues. Nobody's gonna know, but I snuck in Freebird. Only the elect will hear. It's still going.
I turned it off.
No, I mean,
Oh, it's just
it's just like that crazy.
Devin Rudd asks if that genre we just played was post blues.
oh
Is post blues is just more blues, but it's like more. You're thinking about space.
it's like
Sad about space.
shoe blues.
Sad About Space is a great band name.
Shoegaze blues.
All right, let me reuse that stinger.
It's time for Q&A.
And we'll get out of here.
All right. Glass of Strawberry Milk asks, how did the Edge get that percussive rhythmic type double delay without the Joshua pedal?
The Korg STD 3000 and the 2290 TC Electronics. So the 80s rack units. So these pedals on the table are modern pieces of. I love the picture on the picture that was on the picture in the picture. The pedals on the table they offer this sound that is a 1980s rack unit. And the big rack unit, if you're not aware, it's like 19 inches. You know, these things roll in. They're like big old units. Very clunky and impractical unless you're the Edge.
But were there controls like?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So like a 2290, if you Google it right now, you know, a 2290 or an STD 3000, tons of knobs. There's tap tempo, and yeah, the first tap tempo pedal was the DD5 by Boss, which was years later. It was really hard to get the computer in a pedal with the tap controls and all, but the rack units did it earlier because rack units are like literally 10 times the size of this pedal. So that's a great question.
A lot of people are asking for comparisons between the Joshua and the Keeley Halo, or if you had thoughts about that.
The Keeley Halo almost ended up on the table. It's back behind Nick in a drawer with the Keeley stuff. All the stuff's there. You don't have to grab it. I'm just saying it's in the room and I love it. The Keeley Halo, I mean, obviously this is a big piece of the Andy Timmons sound is the dual delay. So that's why they're asking. Here's the honest answer. I have not used it a ton. I've played it. I know it's phenomenal. I'm not super familiar with it. So the point of today's thing was like, I really like these pedals, and I've used them in some way in like real music making. The Halo, I would put it up here easily. So any of you that have the Halo or have considered it, this sound is absolutely inside of it.
You mentioned the flashback on your board, Josh. What else is there right now? What did you use
Just now?
today?
We're going to end up, we'll call it croc cam, but we're going to end up with like a nasty GoPro line or something that's under a dark table. So there's no easy way to show it. I know what I'll do. I'll take a cell phone picture. Hey, you know, that's why we're here.
You do what you do.
Cell phone picture. And then I'll hold that up because this is, can we do top down? I got it. So here's where we are. My board is, great question. I go into a Mythos Argonaut, which I didn't use. The Polytune's up front. But you basically have a Morning Glory into a Cheese Ball into a Nauticlon. So any of my high gain sounds, I almost always have a clon and have always used a clon after dirt because it adds this thing. It adds like the to the tone. So
sorry, what was that again?
It adds the So a lot of the lead sounds you're hearing, that's why they sound so distinct. They're like muffled but really bright. It's because I'm stacking a really dirty clon setting there. I didn't use the pitchfork, but I've used some iteration of a pitchfork for years, and all I do with it is the whammy toe down sound. Artificial blonde I didn't use. If you'll notice, this is my other fix for the 2290. So I've gotten it here or this, or on this board, I just put the flashback in
So
the
you've been using various versions of the 2290 without stereo for how many years?
No, I've become fully addicted because of stereo.
Oh, so you...
Before, I was simply using like, I would just use the flashback mono, but I wouldn't use the 2290, I would use like a DL4.
So you got converted and then started using various variations.
I have every variation that TC offers except for the actual remake, which is in the mail right now.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So this plethora unit is one of my favorite TC units. If you'd like to see me do an episode on this, drop it in the comments. I might do that really soon. I love this unit. It's all of these like small TC algorithm pedals, and you can like arrange them in any way. It's like a multi-pedal. Then this is the looper unit that I'm using. A Boss RV6 has been on the board for a while. It wasn't on today. And the DL4, that's usually my delay sounds in stereo, might I add, not on. So I'm so addicted to 2299, the DL4 doesn't do a good one. I have a totally separate patch just for that one sound, and then all my other delays are here.
You're so addicted to the 2290.
This is a massive plug for like
that
you got
and the
every
Joshua variation there is. It's almost like you have a problem.
You don't have a problem if you say you have a problem, and I have a problem. Yeah, so that's
like saying you can't be mad because I said I'm sorry.
I don't know if anyone notices how many Boss pedals or Ibanez pedals. There's a theme. That's all I'm saying. Does it have a preamp like a Memory Man?
That's a George Trips question. I mean, yes, there's some type of preamplification in every delay. I don't know. I'm not sitting here thinking like that, though. I mean, it sounds great. This isn't the delay you want to turn the delay off on. Some people take a Memory Man or like a Tape Echo and just use it like a preamp.
Is there another rack unit that you would like to see in a pedal format?
Yeah, I did this show format called No Pedals Allowed. I did one of them. I showed a tape delay, and then I have probably 100 rack units at my house. I don't have a problem. I was going to do all these rack units and show them off, which I can do in this setting really well. I just need to bring them.
And remember, as they came in the mail.
There's a lot of stuff. I have a lot of love for rack units because they're so stupid. Like most of them are just like.
Got a lot of rack units.
Yeah.
Two more questions. One's very simple.
All
so
right.
the first one is, Would you use parallel mixes to apply effects only on your delayed audio?
I just let these pedals do that kind of stuff because that's what's going on with these mods and stuff. You can do that. Like you can take a JHS buffered splitter and then the summing amp that we make, and you can run parallel delay effects. People do that in a manual way. That's how shimmer was invented. Is you run octave parallel with the wet of a delay. I have a problem, but I'm not that far in. Like that requires another.
I see.
That's like a whole other level of routing. That's like
honest, and people buy our the summing amp and the splitter to do this all the time, and I'm like, and that's why we made them. But even when I released that, I was like, God, these people are serious. Yeah. They're like hooking up pedals in a parallel path only for the delay. Like there's pedals on the board that are only in the delayed delay.
Yeah,
I'm not there. I don't know that I'll ever be there.
You never thought you'd be stereo.
That's true.
Final question. It is 4:01.
Yep.
Have you listened to the new Pearl Jam album yet?
I have not. I love that they dropped it the day Taylor Swift dropped it, and I was going to listen to it tonight.
There you go, folks.
I'm pretty pumped about it.
I heard if you listen to him at the same time that they actually...
I wish they'd called it like Dead Poets Society or something.
Yeah.
Like that would have been awesome.
I love that movie.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, it is great.
Anyway.
All right.
Any last thoughts, Nick?
No, this is great. I don't really have a spot for this kind of stuff on my board because I don't really know how to do this sound.
I'm picturing you like playing your songs like Spiders Live, and you're like anything.
My alt country dad rock with ping ponging delays. It's like, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah,
it's cool. I like it. Sounds fun.
Oh,
last words?
No, I love the sound. This was a fun episode. I like just digging into this sound I've always loved. I've never really shared that I've always liked this, and then I hated on stereo for so long, and now I'm back to this. Like this is almost like a 15-year journey for me, and this pedal is the best I've heard do any of this in this way with this many features. So
George has been in the live spitting
awesome.
Facts and answering questions. So thanks, George, for being with us.
That's amazing. George is a legend. I can't even describe the amount of stuff he's done. Like if he's in the chat and you see him, just know you're like #blessed because he's the real deal. That's it. I'm good. This has been fun. Everybody have a great evening or morning wherever you are. Bye-bye.